No. Oh yeah, it's the big group.
Big group.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, this is where
Doug.
Kaylee goes like this.
Sam. Let's all clap at the very same time.
Son of a...
So, what are we doing?
We were doing the fireside chat for a dog was named
Vigo!
Vigo.
It's Vigo's time. It's Vigo's time to shine. Let's talk about Vigo. We went to Cannon Beach, Oregon for Vigo's great adventure, working with the Clatsop County Animal Shelter, but we decided to stay in Astoria, not necessarily like technically in Cannon Beach.
Listen, can we talk about Astoria for a second? Because I wanted to move to there forever.
Astoria is special, really special. I think like it was everything I wanted it to be and more, because, you know, you have this picture in your head from the Goonies, like growing up and seeing that like really atmospheric, idyllic spot where like the houses are all built into the kind of side of this like super steep hill. Every single house has a view of like it's not the ocean, but it's like a big river, right, that feeds into the ocean. The Columbia River? Yeah, I think so. It's kind of brackish because it like flows. It's when it meets the ocean. Anyway, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. And it was like so idyllic. It was everything I thought it was going to be. And it felt like a place stuck in time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I just loved it. I don't know. I agree with you. It was a special place. So we were like right there. We were right next to the shelter and we were about 15 minutes from Astoria.
My name is Tiffany Boyd. I've been involved with dogs for a little over 6 years, and when I moved here, I wanted to give back to the community, and Clatsop County Animal Shelter was looking for volunteers. Yes, so the shelter is, government, taxpayer funded, but poor county, so we can't,
like fully survive on
that. So about 25 years ago, Clatsop Animal Assistance was founded. We cover a portion of spaying and neutering, medical costs, we cover food. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I love that. There were 3 dogs that were kind of like in the running for this. And by the way, this is the hardest part. I want to take every single dog out, but the point is to make stuff that's so epic and so eye-catching. And so it's like, let's pick one dog that can represent and stand for all the other dogs.
Yeah.
And so, we met 3 dogs. And the first dog we met, Heidi was a great dog, but she wasn't there as long as Vigo. She had like some resource guarding kind of issues, which is not a big deal and something that can be worked through with a dog.
She looked so excited to have all of these new toys because they came tumbling out.
I know.
I didn't even remember what I had in my backpack.
You had the Mary Poppins backpack.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
There's always something in there.
You have all kinds of doodads and bebops in there.
Yeah,
and
they all came
and Hoosiers and Wutzels.
Mouth.
Basically. She helped herself, was so cute. But she was a great dog and absolutely beautiful. Like, purely from a physical beauty standpoint, I was like, melting. We were all melting over ourselves. When we recognized the resource guarding, again, that's okay. It's a trainable thing that you can work on if she gets in a home. But because we only had we were going to be working with this dog the next day, we didn't really have the time to train that out of her. It wouldn't be the most ideal situation for, the big 2 days of adventure that was happening the next day. The second dog we met,
Teddy.
Yeah.
Teddy was great. Initially, I was like, oh, this is it. He was super fun.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what did you have for lunch? Because
I can taste what he had for lunch.
And he was totally cool with our camera gear. He checked all that out, not an issue.
Good, Mr. Big Smart Boy. Yeah, just poop it.
So all those boxes checked until he had that issue with another dog walking by.
Yeah, and we were planning on doing a lot of really public things, which we're gonna have a lot of other dogs potentially around.
Yeah.
We can flex the adventure to the dog, and probably we would not do a train ride. We'd probably have to find more isolated hikes and things. But let's see what Vigo's like, and then we can make the call.
If we're going to Cannon Beach, if we're going to any of the other dog-friendly parks that we went to, it puts him in a situation to misrepresent himself.
Yes, exactly.
And
not represent the shelter well, or represent a shelter dog well, because it's okay that he has issues with other dogs. One of my dogs does as well. It's kind of normal to be dog selective.
Yeah.
You're giving him the eyes because he's the one. He's the one. He's my little troublemaker.
He does a little resource guarding, might tend to.
Yeah.
But that's something that we worked through. And as we were doing this, we were like, okay. At least for me, I was like, we got one who resource guards, and we have the other who's a little reactive towards other dogs. Let's see who this third guy
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it went. It was we could make it work with one of these first two.
Yeah.
But it was what's the most perfect scenario? Plus, we knew in our heads Vigo, who was coming, was the longest term resident anyway, or adoptable, so we wanted to hopefully make it work.
Yeah.
And it worked out quite nicely.
It did. Vigo came out, and that wild man. I don't think I've ever interacted with a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Before in person.
Sure.
And I know about them. I know that they can be they're highly trainable, they're high energy, but that dude made an impression right away for me.
Yeah.
He came over and you're like, hey, do you have a sit? And he was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, that made a sound when it's
it's so fast.
So sit on the West Coast.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen a sit so fast? Can you sit? Good boy! Nice! Oh my god, he's so quick.
He does have that militant.
Yes, he does.
oh yeah.
So quick. He knew sit right off the bat. He knew paw. He knew lay down. He had a decent stay. He's an excellent dog. It's a mystery to me how that dog could possibly have been adoptable for a year without any interest. Yeah. How? Magical dog. Definitely a lot. He's 3 years old. So he's boisterous, and that's totally normal. And that could be slightly off-putting for somebody who doesn't have a ton of dog experience. But we were with Tiffany from the Clatsop County Animal Shelter, and she was fantastic. She knew exactly how to handle him. So she was the perfect person to come out with us. Shout out, Tiffany.
No, we all need to sing her praises.
We really do.
We have so lucked out with the people we've been able to go out with over these 2 adventures we've done so far. It's been awesome.
It was the perfect pick. It broke my heart, again, not to pick Heidi or Teddy. That's the hardest part of this project, and that's why we leave the camera behind, and we do the workshop so we can teach everybody else how to do kind of what we do, to really make a spectacle of these dogs through amazing photography and videography, and thanks to Canon, leaving the camera behind and giving them the tools that might not otherwise be able to afford. So that's how we picked Vigo, and then enter Samuel Haddix, because Samuel Haddix came on the first day of the greatest adventure. And so since this camera hasn't seen your handsome face yet, I will do the thing.
So what I did learn about Vigo is that he was in training at some point to be a police dog, and he failed out of police academy because he wouldn't bite hard enough. Which is not really the worst quality for a dog to have, that he won't bite hard enough.
Yep.
But yeah, Malinois are really interesting. They kind of explore everything with their mouths, and they get their little teeth. So, the very first thing I did was let him kiss all over my face, and he gave me the little nibbles.
Those bitey kisses.
Yeah.
Award-winning bitey kisses.
Award-winning bitey kisses. He's very gentle with them. you can tell that Vigo really, really wants to please, and he wants to work or do something. So he's gonna find like just the right owner for him that will take him to do like nose work or some sort of training classes, things like that. Dog's super smart, and again, really, really wants to please, whoever he's with.
Okay. All right, into the magical fairy forest. I need to stay in the forest. It's too magical. When I think about the Pacific Northwest, I have this thing in my head of like so many trees, and they're all vertical. And I know trees are normally vertical, relatively vertical.
Yeah.
But I wanted like
Suspiciously vertical.
suspiciously vertical trees.
Terrifying when you see the horizontal.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, it was super magical, and I know that's like my favorite word ever, and I use it a lot, but I feel like I can't find another word that's more perfect for what that forest was for me. And the first thing that we find, like we go hiking through for just, I don't know, like 5-6 minutes, and the first thing that we come upon is this like little fairy tale stream, like tiny waterfalls everywhere. And so we kind of went out there, and luckily for us, Vigo loved the water.
Yep.
So he was like kind of playing in the stream, and we were, doing video, and we were using the RF 135, and we were all like, like panicked. So we go into this little stream, and I mean, this was our first experience with actually filming or photographing him.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, how is he gonna do? We don't know if he's gonna sit, stay, whatever. He was fantastic. He sat for long enough for us to get all of our stuff and get him enjoying the stream and capturing all that magic. So that was a really good little first stop.
I think it was at our first spot, which was near Short Sands or something like that. We were in the woods, and there was that giant fallen tree, and they're like, oh, let's see if he could get up on that. And like lightning, he was just like, yep, if there was a dog to get up on that, it's a Malinois.
Well, it's like I'm living in a dream, so it goes with this moment. Oh, that's it.
And like at this point, we're only supposed to be doing forest stuff. But Tiffany, who we were with, obviously, we like having that insider local knowledge is so awesome, because she was like, if we keep hiking down this way, it's going to come out to a beach clearing. And then we were like, but we're doing a different beach, so maybe we don't need to go there because we just want the forest here. And she's like, no, you got to see this beach.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful she did, because, oh boy, talk about a dog photographer's dream, this place. You have the like sea-swept like logs everywhere that are all washed up from the beach, and big old boulders and rocks and awesome little streams that come down from the like mountains and the forest. I saw this log that had fallen into the freshwater stream. There was like all this like glass, perfect still glass stream water reflecting with this big log and he got right up on it. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. Sometimes bad light is good. I don't know how to describe it. It's so harsh. It's so harsh. It's so nice. Yes, stay. Yes, best day ever. It's the best day. We might have gotten it, hold on. Are you flippin' kidding me?
Because it had the root system, which is what...
Wrong, that one had no root system, it was the other tree. I'm saying it was the log because there's no root system.
Over the whole tree, not just a log.
Oh, I mean, when does a tree become a log? When does a log become a tree? We did find a full fallen tree with a root system. And the root system was sticking like straight up, and so you had this insane situation where these roots were like exposed and huge and all like dry, like driftwoody style, because they'd been dried out from like the salt water and the, whatever, being out in the elements for probably 100 years or whatever. And then it had fallen in the stream. So there's this like pool of crystal clear water that was fresh, and so he could get in it. And it was deep enough that he was like probably up to his like elbows. Yeah, do dogs have elbows? Is that a weird question? And then he would come through the root system of the tree and out towards me, and then he was
as he would come out, he like splashed through it. And at one point I had a treat and he kind of wanted to get at it, but he was being held on the leash, so he couldn't quite get to it. So he started to give me the paw for it. And I got this awesome shot. I'm still pumped on the shot. That's so cool.
The shot's really amazing.
Ready?
You gotta dip your camera in the ocean.
I did. It's not the ocean. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That was insane. Okay. So then after we hiked back out from that amazing spot, where did we go next?
Where did we go next?
You don't
We
remember?
went to Megan's.
Megan's.
Not Megan.
Megan's house? Jennifer's house. Oh, I know. Tabitha's. I know Tabitha's run.
And we went there. And that was it. Clarice's. And that else.
Susan's path. Oh, yes.
We went to Hug Point.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, Meg Hug. See?
And yeah, Meg Hug. Yeah,
Agatha's Mountain.
you know, Agatha's Hug Mountain. We went to Agatha's Hug Mountain next. And
Hug Point next.
and it was chow. I never seen
Poo
it.
chow.
Do you agree on me that it was poo chow?
I don't know. I think it was more like, damn wow.
Oh, damn well. Sam, what do you think it was?
I think it was really nice.
Perfect. Okay, so I agree with that. So we basically we get out to this beach, and then what we had to do was like cross over. The tide was coming in, and it was kind of creating a cove on the other side of this like sticky out rock bit. And so we kind of walked through the water, just shallow water, to get to this cove that was like fully private and no one was there at all. And there was a waterfall, a little tiny waterfall, and it was so cute. And Vigo peed on it. That little cove that we were in, I had this moment of like out of body, sort of like surreal, is this really happening experience? Because from my view, where I was sitting, watching him splashing in that stream and under the waterfall and playing in the beach and in the ocean waves at the sun, like in the sunset light, like this is the greatest adventure. This is his greatest adventure. He was so happy. He had opened up so beautifully and blossomed, and this was only the first day we were with him. He was already like a different dog in those moments. And I thought like, that what to me was like the culmination of all this hard work and all these months of years even of leading up to planning this. It was like, this is what it is. This is what it's about. And it was incredible. And then when we walked back towards the car, the way we really ended the day was Doug running really fast and then tripping in the sand and face planting.
Good day. Good day. Are you all right?
The second day with Vigo was a really cool day. We have to shout out to Christy, who is our project manager. She's the one who came up with this awesome idea to take Vigo on the Oregon Coastal Scenic Railway, which was an original like steam-powered train. And they had an open-air car where they allowed dogs. Out of that Oregon Scenic Railway. I don't think we can say that. You can bleep me.
What was really remarkable was that train was a little louder than I anticipated.
It was. And it did a lot of honking. What it tooting? Toot toot. Honk. Toot toot. What do you call it?
It did a lot of train honks.
It does a lot of boop boop boop. And it got loud at a few points, and we were like, oh, this is a little louder than we anticipated. And he did fantastic. Because, like, I don't know that I would, now that I've been on it with Vigo, that I would probably take, like, this dog on it, my baby boy. Because I think he'd be too anxious about all the sounds. Junie's a different story. Nothing bothers this dog at all, if you can't tell.
I think that really goes to show how confident Vigo was getting, kind of being out and about, because, like, that's a lot for any dog to deal with, and he was fine.
He did fantastic.
He held his own. He was even like looking over the edge and checking things out, and
yeah.
But he just wanted to hang with us.
So Vigo did like a double black diamond sort of job, because I don't know that every dog could handle that, let alone a shelter dog who's been in the shelter for a year without a family, you know? And when we got to the other side of the train ride, Vigo got some ice cream. So I was not mad about that. He got a cone. It's so funny. We were in like the most like idyllic, magical little coastal towns and like gorgeous little, you know, like scenic beach towns. And we got Vigo Dairy Queen, which is like, you know, there's all these like boutique ice cream places and stuff. And we got him Dairy Queen. But I will say Dairy Queen makes quite an iconic looking cone. Plus, I mean, listen, if we're going to make the argument of who has the best soft serve, like really? In the U.S., Dairy Queen's kind of like, yeah, up there.
Nice work. That's it. Sam, down. Ice down here if you can. All right, we got it.
The last place that we went with Vigo.
Haystack
Rock, which is, you know, like the iconic kind of scene of like the Oregon coast. Like if you think of that, if you paint that picture in your head, it's Haystack Rock, it's Cannon Beach. Now, obviously the drawback to Cannon Beach is that it is the thing for tourists to do and see, so it's like gonna be busy. It was busier. It was much busier than the other beaches. I was super glad we did it because I got a photo that I'm like so in love with. Cannon Beach was amazing, and I almost got my shoulder blasted out of its socket, which was cool. I had a cool injury on the first adventure with Rhett.
Oh.
Yeah, and now I had a cool injury on the second adventure.
Yeah.
I think it's a new trend. All right, so I was posing with Vigo in front of Haystack Rock. I was like holding him on his leash. We were doing a nice portrait and he was doing a good boy. And then like someone blasted by on like a bicycle or something.
A biker or a runner.
It was something like fast, yeah. And he was like excited by it and he took off straight after it and with me attached. And because I had my like PTSD from Rhett and I knew that I didn't want to like lose it because Rhett, his leash slipped out of my hands and I was like, I'm not letting this happen with Vigo. I'm not letting his leash slip out. He blasted me forward, but then like pulled my shoulder so hard that it flipped me onto my back. And limbs a flailing and limbs a flying, I went. No! And I survived. I'm still here to tell the story this day. Vigo really showed me that everything that we believe about these shelter dogs is 100% true. Yeah. That they are these incredible souls and personalities, and sometimes maybe they're hiding behind this veil of like fear or insecurity or whatever, right? Because they've been behind the bars of a cage for so long that they can't come out of their shells and express themselves. But as soon as he was out for an hour, 2 hours, he was a different dog. Yeah. He bloomed into this amazing creature with so much love to give, and that's the whole point. And so far, 2 out of 2 dogs that we've met so far have proven this to me. It's never been like, oh, that was a mistake. Like maybe this dog wasn't right for this, or maybe this dog wasn't, well fit for the adventure or whatever. In both cases, they have been so, impressive in the way that they have come around, and the forgiveness that they have for what they've been through, and the trust that they like immediately dole out is so uniquely dog. It's so uniquely canine. You know what I mean? It's like something that I feel humans are hard pressed to do. They're hard pressed to love like that, and they're hard pressed to forgive so easily. Both Vigo and Rhett have really blown me away, and yeah, it made me realize that like it is all worth it. Like giving up, our regular lives for a year, or and traveling, and sometimes it's really hard, and you have these 8-hour days on the road, and it's hard to live out of like 200 square feet, and going through bad weather and editing marathons that are 12 hours long, and all of that is hard, but my God, is it worth it for these dogs. I'm so grateful.
So I have a message
I was really hoping you'd pull this out.
Yes.
What?
So-
What?
Wait, hang on. So I don't know. You don't know about this message either.
I don't
Wait,
know
who
what it
doesn't?
is, but
What?
I knew it exists.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to read it to you, but I wanted to read it to you for the first time here. As you may remember, when we worked with Brett, our volunteer that we were partnered with was Kat, who was lovely.
She was awesome.
And she was right there in the water with us.
Yep.
And getting messy
Yep.
and going all the adventures, and like we couldn't have done that without her. I got this message from her today, literally about 3 hours ago, and she said, "Hey Sam, this is Kat from Montana. Please tell the gang first that I miss you all. But most importantly, I have taken 3 dogs out on day adventures, got new photos, and did a write-up about our day. Every dog I have done this with has been adopted within a couple days of our adventure. I'm so stoked and on such a high. Gotta keep it going. Next adventure is on Saturday. Thanks for lighting this fire in me. Love seeing the difference. You all rock."
Oh, I'm crying now.
Wow.
That's really good. Knew it.
How cool is that?
3 dogs already. 3 dogs since Rhett.
3 dogs since Rex.
So 4 dogs total from that shelter
Yep.
And you
already, and it's been what, 2 weeks?
I've only got 2 weeks.
Yeah, from one volunteer.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Amazing volunteer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Shout out to Kat.
Sing her praises.
Kat,
Holy,
you're doing it. You're doing the thing. And
that's it. That's the thing.
Yep.
Like, oh,
And that is proof positive right there that, those photos make a big difference. And just taking, not just the photos, but just taking those dogs out of the shelter environment, even just for a couple hours some afternoon, get them being dogs, capture photos of that, goes a huge, huge way.
And they all deserve it so much, I think about the dogs that have been left behind and how they have no way to tell their stories. They have no way to speak for themselves. And just any little thing that we can do, right, to tell the world like what they're all about and give them that chance to speak their own story, even though they have no physical voice to say it, but using the power of photography and videography and storytelling. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
that's so.
That's so incredible. Man, wow. Wow. Joshua, a kiss. It did a lot of honking. What tooting? Toot toot.
Honking.
Toot toot. What do you call it?
It's in a lot of train honks.
It does a lot of boop boop boop.